Hello, I'm Matt. I am the creator of the multiplayer support mod for Tasmanian Tiger, Mul-Ty-Player, and I am going to show you how to set it up because it can be a little bit confusing. The first thing you will need to do is find my GitHub page for Mul-Ty-Player. It is available everywhere related to Ty now. It's on the speedrunning Discord, it's on speedrun.com, it's linked in the description of this video. I'm going to paste it everywhere, but yes, it's around, you can find it. Once you found the GitHub page, you will notice on the right hand side, if you've never used GitHub before, which a lot of people haven't, there is this releases tab. Before we go there though, we're going to scroll down and we're going to check some things. I will be posting updates at the top here that explain what you need to install with each new update. There's 3 parts to running Mul-Ty-Player. You need an RKV, which is the game files. You need a client application, and someone in your group needs a server application. All 3 of those things can be installed using the same installer that I've created. To install, we're going to go to this releases page. I'm going to find the latest release, and we're just going to click the installer.msi. Okay, we'll wait for that to finish downloading. Okay, so once it's installed, we'll have it in our downloads folder, and we're just going to run the installer. Once it launches, you will be presented with this. This is the wizard. There's some information there. Basically hit next, and then we're going to click server application and RKV patcher. You don't need the server application if someone else is going to be running it, but it might be useful to have, so I would advise installing all of them. And the RKV patcher is only necessary if you want to update the RKV. I recommend doing this with each new big version, and if I mention it in the top message on the GitHub page. The client application you will almost definitely need. Hit next. This asks you to choose a place to install it. You can install it anywhere. I'm going to install it in the regular program files 86 place. I would advise installing it somewhere where you have administrator privileges, because if you don't, then you will run into issues. Let's hit next, and then hit next to start the installation. It will install. It might prompt you to allow it to make changes to your computer. Allow it. That's just so it can install it in the correct place. And then it will be finished. That's great. Then we can close that. And now if we go to our Mul-Ty-Player folder, which is in the program files 86 or wherever you decided to install it, we'll see we have a 1.3.4 folder. We can go into there, and then we have these 3 folders. We have a client server, and we have the RKV patcher. These are our files. Excellent. So the next thing you'll need to do is make sure that you have the RKV. To do this, we're going to open the RKV patcher and just run the RKV patcher. You'll be greeted with this little box. It says to select the original Ty folder. That's easy enough. You're just going to select your Ty folder. This is usually on your C drive under program files 86, and then under Steam, and then Steam apps, common, and it'll be there. Ty the Tasmanian Tiger should be there. Okay. Once we've selected that, the top button will be grayed out as long as it's okay, and then hit download and install. This is going to take a minute. The green bar will slowly fill up. If during installation the RKV crashes after you hit download and the bar doesn't start to fill up, that's because you didn't give the application administrator privileges and it's put somewhere where it doesn't have them. Just right click the application, click run as administrator, and then try the same thing again, and this time it should work. And what you should see is in the folder where you have the RKV patcher, there should be a file called data_pc.rkv that should be starting to download. I'll come back when this is finished downloading. Okay, so once the application is finished, you should see a message flash up that tells you that the data_pc has been moved and the folder has been created. If you didn't have administrator privileges, that file can't be moved to the place that you're trying to move it to, so this file will still be here. If you still see this file here, you're going to want to cut it by hitting Ctrl+X and then paste it into your Ty folder. So now I'm in my Steam apps folder. We have Ty the Tasmanian Tiger and we have Mul-Ty-Player here. And this Mul-Ty-Player folder is the new folder that's been created. It's copied across all of your Ty files, which is great. But what you still need is the data_pc. So we're going to paste that file in here and allow it to be pasted, and we're good. Now we have that file in there. If that file wasn't there, it means it's already been moved into this folder, so you don't have to worry about that. Just find this folder and make sure it's here. For version 1.3, if you are updating the RKV, you will need to make sure that this folder has been deleted before you use the RKV patcher. I'm planning on adding more function to the RKV patcher in 1.4 that allows it to detect if the folder's there and just overwrite the data_pc file and allow you to select a folder in a different place if you already have it. So that is everything with sorting the RKV out, and now we can get on to talking about how to set up the server so that you can run it. Okay, so one person is always going to need to have the server application running, and to have the server application work, you need to port forward, similar to if you're making a Minecraft server. The rules are quite specific, so I'll go through that. But the first thing you're going to want to do is open command prompt, unless you already know your IPv4 address or the default gateway. Okay, once we have command prompt open, we're going to type ipconfig, and then you are looking for this, the default gateway. And then you're looking for this, a default gateway. Sometimes it's the IPv4 address, but usually it's a default gateway. So you're going to copy that, and now we're going to go back to the internet, and we're just going to paste it into our search bar like this. And now we're here, we're on our router. You might need to put in some login details, there's some other stuff that's going on, but this is usually the same rough process with doing this. Okay, so now we need to find the section of our router that deals with port forwarding. Here I have port forwarding rules, so I'm going to do this, and then I need to log in, so bear with me. Okay, so now we're in our port forwarding table. We're going to go back to command prompt, do the ipconfig, and we get given this here as our IPv4 address. We're going to need that. This is the address of the device on our network, and in this case it's my computer, so I'm going to copy that, and we're going to need that to set up the rule. So I'm going to make a new rule. It's going to be the same as the one above, but I'm going to explain what each thing does. Add a new IPv4 mapping. We're going to call it Ty. That's fine. It needs to be TCP or UDP. It really needs to be UDP, but if you have a TCP or UDP option, then it's great. You only really need UDP. So if you only have UDP, go with UDP. So I'll go with that. And then we're going to set the port to 8750. It has to be 8750. I've specified this in the GitHub. I've specified it everywhere. 8750 is the port that I'm using. Set that as the WAN and the LAN port. It means that people can connect if they're on the network as well. And then the destination IP is going to be your IPv4 address. So once you're done with that, add. It won't let me add it because I've already got an existing mapping. That's fine. So I'll delete mine. It's the same as the one above. And you're done. So that is the server setup. There you go. In the server folder, we have a server settings file. That's the useful thing here. And in the client folder, we have a client settings folder. That's the useful thing there. We also have the applications themselves. It's very useful. So what we need to do to set up the server is we go to server settings and we can change these settings. So server settings.mtps can be opened with Notepad. That's absolutely fine. Any other text editor is great. And here are the server settings. So as of 1.3, password does not work. It's non-functional. Don't worry about it. I'm planning on implementing that at some point, but for right now, it just doesn't work. So ignore that. The koala order specifies the order in which the koala is given out. So the first person to join in this case will get Booney, second person will get Mim, then Katie, then Kiki, and so on. So if you want to be a specific koala, then you need to switch that to whichever position you're planning on joining the server, or ask the server owner to do that. That's fine. It doesn't make a huge difference. I'm considering allowing people to choose the koala in the future. It just becomes a little bit tricky, but that's the idea. Then we have all of the sync options. If you're doing a race, then none of these are necessary. If you want to do a co-op run of the game, then you can turn these on as you wish. The TEs is Thunder Eggs sync, so that they will sync the Thunder Eggs between levels and your save data. The cogs is for the golden cogs, the bilbies is for bilbies, the rangs is for collecting the rangs, and attributes like swimming and diving. Opals is for opals and crates. Portals is the portals appearing in Rainbow Cliffs, and cliffs is for stuff like removing the ice wall or the logs or the gate to the final area being opened. Stuff like that is being synced there. So that's the server settings. Configure them as you wish. Okay, I've just opened the client settings file. This is the client settings. It can also be opened in Notepad. And here we have all the settings for the client. So this is when you connect to the server. Password does not work. Get Steam name. This uses an API to try and get your Steam name if you are connected through Steam. If you want it to do that automatically so that the name that you join the server with is your Steam name, just leave it as true. If you don't and you want to have a default name set instead, set this to false, and then you can put a default name in here. If there's a person you're always connected to and you know their IP address, you can put it in here. The IP address you want is the public IP. You can find this by going to Google and searching what is my public IP, and there's websites that will show you what your IP is. That's fine, just put that in there. Do koala collision specifies whether you can run into each other or not. For races and co-op runs, often you don't want this on. If you want to keep functionality, then you might want this on. Position logging does not work, so ignore these final two things. It is something that is planned for the future, but right now it doesn't work. So the main things are these middle settings that you will want to change, and that is everything. So to run multiplayer, you'll need to do three things now. Really easy. The person who is running the server will need to double click on this application, the server. That will start the server, and then other players that want to connect and the host as well will need to go to the client and double click the client. That starts the client. And then you'll also both need to run Mul-Ty-Player, which is in the folder where you installed it in your Steam apps folder. It'll be in there. And then when you're running that, the client will kick into life and say, hey, you're connected. This is your name, or it'll ask you for a name. It'll ask you for an IP address, and then you're connected. Make sure you connect on the main menu. If you connect while you're in a level, it can mess with the syncing a bit. So generally, connect on the main menu, start a new game, and you should be synced, and everything should work. That is how you set up Mul-Ty-Player. It's not too much hassle, especially once you've sorted out the RKV and the server and client. I hope this helps people, and I can't wait to see people running this and having fun with it. Good luck, have fun. If you run into any issues, jump in the Discord, speedrunning Discord, or the modding Discord for Ty, or leave an issue on the GitHub page. Contact me however you like. There's links everywhere, and I will help out however I can. Thank you.